Divine Revelation for 2025. 3 miraculous prophecies to guide you through this supernatural year. In the quiet village of Haverford, where the sweet scent of blooming roses filled the air, the venerable church stood like a beacon, once alive with prayers, now dulled by doubt. Grace, a devoted schoolteacher, found herself at the center of a rising storm. Faith was waning. Skepticism spread like dark clouds, and the villagers whispered of science over scripture. Yet, one ordinary evening, as she knelt in humble prayer, the atmosphere thickened with divine presence. Suddenly, a blinding light enveloped her, and visions cascaded through her mind. 3 miracles awaited in 2025. Her heart raced. This was the fervor they needed. The first miracle revealed a child, little Samuel, fighting a fierce battle against a terminal illness. She saw the village gather, hands clasped, their faith contending against despair. As the collective prayer pulsed through the air, Grace felt the intensity, the weight of their hopes resting on the power of their unwavering belief. Would Samuel's healing come to pass? Oh, what a test this would be for their faith. Voices filled with joy, longing, and underlying fear rolled through her, leaving behind a trail of warmth. In her clarity, the second vision unfolded a man she recognized, broken and lost, caught in the chains of addiction. There, amidst the shadows he lived, she perceived the agonizing struggle that gripped him. Change swept through Grace's heart as she envisioned the villagers confronting their fears, wrestling with forgiveness. Some were quick to welcome him, hands open wide, while others frowned, shackled by resentment. Would they grasp the depths of grace when faced with fallen humanity? Then the third miracle loomed. Dark clouds brewed overhead, an impending natural disaster threatening Haverford. The villagers lined up at the church, gathering for comfort. Grace's revelation weighed heavily on her newfound purpose. Would they decide to unite in prayer? The foreboding whispers swirled and tore at the fabric of her soul. An urgent feeling flooded her. Each prophecy could become a lifeline to rescue them from despair. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With trembling hands, Grace stood before the elders of the church, her breath shaky and heart pounding. I must share what I've seen, she urged, her voice filled with divine urgency. But the elders held their heads low, casting cynical glances, as if to say her words might splinter the church further. Doubt seeped into their brows. Could something so extraordinary be true? Yet, as rumors of the disaster grew wilder, hope flickered alongside fear. The boisterous prayers of the faithful began to rise. But would it be enough? These 3 miraculous events hung in the balance of belief. With faith spearheading her, Grace braced herself. The moment of revelation ticked closer. Could she stir the hearts of the villagers, united in a time of fear? The answer remained shrouded in mystery. She prayed for the strength of faith, knowing the fate of Haverford rested on the brink of something extraordinary. As dawn approached, the first signs of healing began to bloom within her weary soul. Yet the greatest challenge lay ahead. Would they choose hope or collapse beneath the weight of skepticism? The stage was set, and a ripple of destiny awaited them all. As morning light spilled over the village of Haverford, a soft golden glow illuminated the church's stained glass windows, casting a prism of colors on the cold stone floor. Grace stood before the window, deep in thought, contemplating her next steps. It felt as if a divine weight rested on her shoulders, a heavenly mandate to awaken the hearts of her fellow villagers. The air was tense with uncertainty, an electric charge buzzing as she stepped out into the square. Faces she once knew seemed unfamiliar, shadowed with doubt and weariness. Grace felt the weight of their skepticism, but somewhere deep within her heart, a flicker of hope persisted. She approached a small gathering of villagers, her voice steady but soft. Friends, I believe we have the power to change our future through faith. Some turned away, lost in their own thoughts, while others listened, intrigued but hesitant. Murmurs ran through the crowd like whispers of wind. What can faith do against the storms approaching us? One woman asked, her brow furrowed with concern. What if prayer isn't enough? Grace took a deep breath, gathering her courage. I've seen what can be, and with divine intervention, we can reshape our fate if we unite our prayers. Think of little Samuel. Can you not remember the power of our collective heart? Together we have faced trials before. A spark ignited in the eyes of an older man, a former fisherman. Indeed, I recall the harvest festival when we prayed for rain to nourish the crops. Our prayer was answered. His voice carried a weight of remembrance. Those stories lingered, vivid and alive in the hearts of many. Encouraged, Grace pressed on. This is not just about one child or a struggling soul. Our entire village stands at the crossroads. The storms, both fear as tempest and nature as fury, can be confronted. Will we choose to hide or rise together? A young mother with a tired expression stepped forward. I want to believe, but what if it doesn't work? What if we pray, and nothing changes? Her voice trembled, yet it resonated with many in the gathering. In that moment, Grace felt a surge of divine clarity wash over her. Prayer isn't a wand to conjure instant results. It's an act of faith, a declaration of hope. In prayer, we find strength. In unity, we find resilience. The crowd fell silent, and then one by one, heads nodded slowly as the heaviness of doubt began to lighten. Small whispers turned into murmurs of agreement, a fresh breeze sweeping away the dark clouds of disbelief. In that fragile moment, the collective spirit began to shift, opening the hearts of those present. They could not predict the outcome, but together they could choose to stand in faith. Sudden laughter erupted as little Samuel, oblivious to the adult worries, ran between the villagers, his laughter like the melody of renewal. Grace's heart warmed at his joy, a symbol of hope. The villagers started to raise their voices in prayer, timid at first, then with increasing conviction. She joined in, her voice blending with theirs, as waves of faith crashed into the shadows, stirring the very air around them. As their voices wove a tapestry of hope, Grace's heart soared. The stirring of their souls felt tangible. Yet, an unsettling thought gnawed at the back of her mind. Time was slipping away. The disaster was still looming. Could this newfound unity withstand the tests to come? With faith trembling in her core, Grace realized that the miracles would unfold not solely from the visions she had seen, but from the very essence of their collective belief. What awaited them beyond the horizon of prayer and unity? As the sky grew darker, the winds began to whip around them, and a question echoed in Grace's spirit. Would their rising faith be enough to weather the storm? The winds howled through the square, as if nature itself sensed the tumult brewing not only in the skies but within the hearts of the villagers. Grace felt the gusts tug at her hair and clothes, almost as if urging her to act. The dark clouds overhead mirrored the uncertainty that still lingered among the villagers. She closed her eyes for a moment, inhaling deeply, welcoming the cool air that sensed her spirit's plea. Look to the skies, she urged, her voice firm. They may darken above us, but let our hearts be aflame with hope. The same God who gives us breath is the one who shelters us in every storm. She opened her eyes, scanning the gathering, searching for sparks of faith among the shadows. With each word, she saw faint glimmers of belief flicker to life. An elderly woman clasped her hands tightly, tears pooling in her eyes at the sweetness of a possibility, the strength of faith pulling them together against the unknown. Little Samuel, now still, looked up at her with wide, trusting eyes. Somehow, his innocence acted as a bridge, drawing people closer to the goodness that Grace spoke of. Please, let us unite. Let us pray not for what we fear, but for what we seek. Amidst the growing tension, an unexpected roar of thunder rolled overhead, shaking the ground beneath them. The villagers gasped, a few instinctively retreating, clinging to one another. But the sound resonated with Grace, almost a divine echo. Feel that? It's a reminder. She shouted above the din. God is speaking. He is telling us we're not alone in this. In our prayers, we will find peace. In our unity, we will find strength. It is time to raise our voices and not cower beneath the weight of our fears. With newfound conviction, a man stepped forward, his hands trembling but his heart resolute. Grace, what should we pray for? She took a moment to gather her thoughts, feeling the weight of the question. We pray for courage, for the faith to see beyond the present storm. Pray for divine guidance. Pray for one another. We must be a haven in this chaos. As they began praying aloud, their voices clashed with the rumble of thunder. Thoughts of doubt waned, and the words of their hearts bubbled forth as waves of fervor engulfed them. Grace felt the atmosphere thicken, the very air vibrating with their shared surrender. Suddenly, Grace noticed a flickering light within the darkening clouds. At first, it seemed nothing more than a trick of the light, but as she focused, she saw it more distinctly. A soft, golden glow breaking through the malevolent gray. She gasped, both in surprise and revelation. "Do you see it?" she exclaimed, her voice strong with excitement. "It's God's promise. Even in darkness, light will come to us." One by one, the villagers turned their gaze upward, a spark igniting in their eyes as they began to believe in the vision unfolding above. Just then, a low rumble echoed not just from the storm, but deep within the hearts of the people. A sense of shared identity began to form, a realization that they were intertwined, bound together by rooted faith that could not be so easily swayed. As their voices harmonized, pleading for strength, healing, and protection, the glow intensified, illuminating the square. With a profound sense of urgency, Grace knew the moment was ripe. This divine beacon wasn't just a sign. It was an invitation to deepen their faith and to truly connect with the divinity that was calling them. But then, a tremor of fear seeped into her thoughts. What if it's just a fleeting glimpse? What if we fail to hold on to this moment? The questions churned like the winds swirling above. As they stood together, hearts entwined and prayers lifting, one thought burned within Grace's spirit with fiery clarity. If they could embrace this light amidst the tempest, a greater revelation was surely on the horizon. The dawn of divine transformation beckoned them closer. Yet what awaited in that bright dawn? Would they be ready to embrace the next step on this extraordinary journey? The light above grew brighter, casting off the shadows that clung to the square, and Grace felt her heart race with anticipation and belief. "Look how it shines. It's as though heaven is opening up just for us." Her voice rang with joy, and the villagers echoed her enthusiasm, their spirits rising like the soft dawn chasing away the night. One by one, hands reached upward, embracing the light that felt tangible, almost like a warm embrace. The air crackled with hope, and even the wind seemed to soften, sighing in harmony with the collective yearning for divine assurance. "Pray with heart," Grace encouraged, her own spirit soaring. "Pray to see the beauty in the storm as it passes over us. Pray that our faith will be even stronger once the clouds are gone. Believe that this is the beginning." Around her, voices blended into a symphony of supplication, rising higher and higher until they melded with the distant thunder. Samuel, with his innocent trust, repeated after her, "God, help us believe in your promise." His earnestness was magnetic, and others joined in, feeling a surge of love and camaraderie as they lifted their voices together. But just as hope erupted across the congregation, a brilliant flash of lightning cracked through the clouds, followed by a booming thunder that sent ripples of fear through the gathering. Some stumbled back, eyes wide with alarm, yet Grace stood firm. "Do not be afraid," she shouted, her conviction breaking through the fear. "God is not asking us to be perfect. He is asking us to be present. In his embrace we are safe." An older man stepped forward, visibly shaken yet moved. "How can we trust when the storm feels so fierce?" His words hung heavy in the air, a compelling inquiry that caused the group to pause. Grace took a deep breath, resting her hands against her heart. "It's in the very storm that we build our faith. Without the rain there can be no growth. Remember Job, how he was transformed through trials. Just as those trials brought strength, so too will our faith rise through these struggles. The villagers nodded, shadows receding as light ignited their understanding. They began to remember that faith was not simply about clarity but often about trusting in the unseen. It was about facing the storm together, holding on to hope as tightly as they held onto one another. With the ghost of doubt momentarily dispelled, the golden light above now felt like a living pulse, flickering in sync with the hearts of the villagers. Their voices soon melded into a rhythmic prayer, weaving in and out like the dance of leaves in the gentle wind, each word a thread of vulnerability and strength. As their faith expanded, Grace sensed a deeper calling. We are more than individuals. We are a tapestry woven by God's hands. It's in our unity that we will see the mighty works He can do. Let us rise together. Just then, the flicker of light changed, morphing into a clear, steady glow that arced gracefully across the sky. The villagers gasped, marveling at this miraculous vision. But amidst the excitement, Grace's heart fluttered with uncertainty. What more was this glow seeking to reveal? What challenges awaited them beyond this moment of hope? Would they have the courage to follow where the light led? Would they recognize the divinity in each other as they ventured into the unknown? The air felt thick with divine mystery, bursting with potential. Grace closed her eyes for a brief moment, whispering a prayer of readiness. What awaited them on this path of faith? Their collective gaze remained fixed on the radiant glow, drawn forward yet bound by hesitation. What wondrous truths waited to be uncovered in the heart of the storm? As the villagers stood captivated by the steady glow, an overwhelming sense of unity washed over them. Grace could feel the thread of connection growing stronger among them, binding them in faith and resolve. The glow above pulsed rhythmically, as if echoing their hearts, inviting them to take the next step. "Can you feel it?" Grace asked, her voice barely a whisper, yet powerful in the silence that surrounded them. That warmth, that call? One by one, heads nodded, as if a gentle breeze had stirred the depths of silent understanding. Old and young, the faces of the villagers reflected the light, hope illuminating their features. They were ready. With a deep breath, Grace took a step forward. Let us not stand still, held captive by our fears. This light beckons us. Let us walk into it together. As she spoke, the golden glow seemed to brighten, filling the air with an electric charge brimming with possibility. Samuel, emboldened by her words, tugged at her hand and exclaimed, "I want to see where it leads." Grace smiled at his innocence, and no longer able to resist the pull of divine comfort, she took the first step toward the shimmering light, her heart thudding in sync with the echoes of their prayer. One by one, villagers stepped forward, their resolve solidifying into an unstoppable tide. "Watch," Grace urged, as she approached the light. "Trust in Him. Just trust." As they moved closer, the glow swirled above them, wrapping around the crowd like a gentle blanket. Warmth enveloped them. It was both familiar and new, as if this embrace had been waiting for them all along. But then, a shadow swept over the square. A swirling wind arose, casting doubt into the hearts of some. What if we cannot handle what lies past this light? A voice called out from the crowd. Fear slipped through, threatening to unravel their collective spirit. "Fear not," Grace responded, her voice stronger now. "Did we not just pray for courage? It's in our hands to embrace the promise." She turned her gaze to the sky, where the light shuddered with anticipation, pulsating as if in conversation with their doubts. Their a reason were feeling this tug of war between fear and faith. "This is our moment." The villagers remained silent, grappling with their fears while feeling the divine energy swirl above. Grace closed her eyes again, her spirit lifting in prayer. "God, let us not be afraid. Reveal your ways to us. Show us your strength in this storm." Beneath the pressure of uncertainty, individual prayers began to rise again, weaving together as a tapestry of hope. Each man and woman found their voice, and gradually, insecurity melted into resolve. They felt the irresistible urge to trust, to lift their eyes toward the light instead of their fears. "There it is," a woman shouted, pointing toward the heart of the glow. "Do you see it? It's moving." As if in response, the glow shifted, expanding outward like a beacon among darkening clouds. It shimmered with colors never seen before, sending waves of inspiration and divine invitation deep into their hearts. In that moment, Grace sensed an undeniable truth: the light was alive, a divine presence inviting them into something profound and transformational. This was not merely an ending but a new beginning. The weight of fear turned to exhilaration, lifting them up as they took a step forward, united in faith. What marvels would this journey unfold? And just then, as they ventured forth, a gentle whisper echoed in Grace's heart, urging her to listen. "Are you ready for what I am about to do?" With a mixture of wonder and trepidation, they pressed onward. What supernatural revelations lay hidden beyond the storm, awaiting their discovery? What divine purpose would illuminate the path brave enough to follow? The air crackled with anticipation as the villagers moved together, emboldened by the undeniable warmth of the glow. Each step felt like a sacred affirmation, as if they were participating in an ancient dance, one that united their hearts and spirits. Grace could see the hesitation in some eyes, but conviction rippled through the crowd, encouraging them to push onward. "Let us be bold," she called out, her voice slicing through the tension like a warm breeze. "Together we can step into his light." That simple assertion hung in the air, weaving through the hearts of those present. The light pulsed brighter in response, casting shadows away and infusing the surroundings with clarity. As they inched closer, the glow enveloped them, and Grace felt its invitation wrap around her like a comforting shawl. It was as if the universe itself was whispering secrets only they could hear. Just then, the swirling wind began to still. Grace observed a shift. The fear that once clouded their hearts was displaced by an emerging strength. Heads that had bowed in uncertainty now lifted in faith, eyes shining with newfound determination. "I can feel his presence," a man proclaimed, and the villagers echoed his sentiment, their voices rising in a unified chorus of hope. With every step, Grace's heart swelled. She sensed something beyond herself, a divine orchestration amidst the movement of the crowd. It was a revelation that things would unfold as they trusted, not only in themselves but also in that radiant promise of a brighter future. As the glow intensified, shaping vibrant hues of gold and azure, a vision flickered in Grace's mind. She saw the pathway ahead, illuminated not by mere light, but by an eternal truth, one that bore witness to their commitment and faith. This was a moment far beyond earthly perception. It was a glimpse into a divinely woven tapestry, shimmering with potential and purpose. "Turn your hearts toward the light," Grace urged, as the first tendrils of dawn reached out to greet them. "This is not the end of our journey, but a leap into a sacred adventure." Samuel's hand tightened around Grace's as he leaned closer. "But what is waiting for us?" he asked, his small voice reflecting the wonder and uncertainty of the group. "We trust," she replied with a confidence that surprised even herself. "For what awaits beyond is far greater than our fears." In a moment that would forever be etched in their hearts, the shimmer cascaded down like rain, showering them with blessings of hope. It was a message that transcended any earthly concern, a divine promise that love would lead them through every trial they would face. As they stood on the cusp of this radiant realm, silence descended like a holy breath. The air now felt heavy with possibilities, each person brimming with unanswered questions. "Why have we been called here?" A voice emerged, breaking the stillness, laden with awe. Grace turned her gaze toward the heart of the glow. "Perhaps it is to reveal our purpose," she answered, searching her own heart for guidance. "To illuminate the path we are meant to take." Drawn deeper into the warmth, the villagers shared a collective breath, entwined by the spark of divine connection pulsing in their midst. Answers lay somewhere beyond the glow, waiting patiently for them to take the next step, as mysteries unraveled before them. What lies ahead? A whisper danced through Grace's soul, a question that echoed in the hearts of everyone around her. As they pressed further toward the light, a thought flickered through Grace's mind, igniting a flame of anticipation. What revelations awaited them, and would they be ready to embrace them? They took another step forward, hearts united in faith. In that sacred moment, the glow brightened, swirling around them. Felt like an invitation to dive deeper into the unknown. Are we prepared for the transformation that is about to unfold? Grace asked, sensing the weight of the moment closing in around them. And with that, the villagers held their breath, on the brink of a divine experience that could change everything. The atmosphere grew thicker, almost electric, as they stood poised before the luminous glow. Grace could feel an unshakable presence, tugging gently at the core of her being. It was both comforting and terrifying, like standing on the edge of a breathtaking cliff, staring into the vast unknown. With each heartbeat, the villagers' faith seemed to pulse like a living thing, intertwining their spirits in a dance of unity. Grace felt the energy ripple through them, igniting their souls with fervor. "Step forward," she urged softly, her voice filled with love and assurance. "We are co-creators with him." As if in response to her words, the light flickered and coalesced into intricate patterns before them, weaving together glimpses of promises yet to be fulfilled. The air shimmered with whispers of possibility, and she could feel the fluttering of hope in every chest around her. Samuel's small hand squeezed hers tighter as they moved. "What if we're afraid to take the next step?" he asked, his eyes flashing with unease. Grace knelt beside him, looking into his eyes, shining brighter than ever. "Fear is a shadow, Samuel," she said, her voice steady. "But the light is our guide. Trust in it, and it will lead us home." As if affirming her reassurance, the brilliance surged, enveloping them in a warm embrace. The shadows of doubt that had clung to their hearts began to dissolve, revealing shimmering paths of clarity ahead. Each villager's breath became synchronized, a sacred rhythm echoing through their unified spirits. Suddenly, without warning, the light burst forth, sending a reverberating wave through the group. There, amidst the glow, figures began to materialize, gentle spirits, shining brightly like stars holding ancient wisdom. The villagers gasped in awe, their eyes widening with disbelief, for they witnessed heavenly messengers, beings that had been sent to guide them on their journey. "Fear not," one spirit spoke gently, its voice a harmony of warmth and peace. "You are walking where many have dreamed. The transformation you seek is entwined in love, faith, and unyielding trust. A divine calling has united you." Another spirit interjected, its presence exuding pure compassion. "Set down your burdens, for they are not yours to bear alone. This is your moment for revelation." Grace's heart swelled with emotions too profound for words. She looked around, catching the eyes of her fellow villagers, and saw that they were transfixed by the ethereal display. "What are we meant to do?" she asked, her voice steady but filled with wonder. With a smile that lit up the atmosphere, the first spirit replied, "To embrace your purpose and unlock the treasures of the divine within each of you. You shall be the light in your community, shining brightly through trials and tribulations." As the message settled in, an overwhelming sense of purpose blossomed in Grace's heart. It became clear, they were more than mere spectators in this divine play. They were active participants. Each villager was a beacon, ready to illuminate the world around them. But with that recognition came a deeper question, one that reverberated like a drumbeat in Grace's soul. How do we begin this journey? The spirits gestured toward the expanding glow. By trusting in your steps and embracing the unknown, understand that every question you hold carries the seeds of divine answers. The villagers held their breath once more, the gravity of the moment hanging in the air like dew on dawn's first light. The light surged, pulsing synchronously with their hearts, beckoning them to take a leap into the vast unknown. What awaits us beyond this moment? Grace wondered, her spirit yearning to dive into the depths of divine possibility. Their eyes were drawn to the hearts of the spirits, where shimmering orbs danced, swirling with colors of love and passion. With a collective sense of holy urgency, they understood the next step was more than a physical journey. It was a spiritual awakening. And as they took that leap forward into the light, the question lingered in the air: what miraculous revelations were waiting just beyond the horizon, ready to transform their lives in ways they could hardly imagine? As they stepped into the radiant glow, a wave of warmth enveloped Grace and the villagers. The barrier between the seen and unseen felt almost non-existent, and for a brief moment, time seemed to pause, holding its breath. Each heart thumped in unison, resonating with an unheard symphony of hope and divine potential. Samuel, finding courage in the shelter of Grace's presence, stepped closer. "What happens now?" he whispered, his innocence piercing the air with sincerity. From the luminous core, the spirits began to beckon them nearer, their faces shining like the dawn, filled with an easy peace that melted away any lingering concerns. "You are entering a sacred space," one of the spirits explained, his voice woven with divine intent. "Here you shall receive the wisdom that your hearts have longed for." The atmosphere shimmered, and Grace held her breath, feeling an electric anticipation in the air. The spirits uncoiled a vision that danced before their eyes, luminous scenes unfolding like petals blooming in the sun. Lives transformed, hearts restored, communities healed, each vision a testimony of the divine love that thrived when faith blossomed. "Look closely," another spirit urged, "and see what you may become." Your light, when connected with others, can blaze trails of joy, healing, and restoration. Each villager felt memories and dreams rising to the surface. Grace thought of the children laughing in the village square, the elderly sharing stories, and the quiet moments spent in prayer. All those simple yet profound experiences were threads of light, interwoven into a tapestry of community that had diligently supported her and her neighbors. "Can we truly be the light?" she pondered aloud, her heart now full of burgeoning confidence. "In a world burdened by darkness, can we shine? In you, there is all the light you need to illuminate the path," the first spirit assured her. "Together, you can bring love and healing to the places that ache for it most." Abruptly, the glow shifted, revealing unexpected visions. Painful pasts surfaced, fractured relationships, bitter grievances, feelings of inadequacy. The villagers recoiled at first but quickly realized these shadows were not meant to haunt them, but to be transformed by love and forgiveness. "It is time to release these burdens," one spirit urged, "for true illumination begins when you lay down your fears and regrets." Grace felt a knot loosen in her chest. Forgiveness washed over her like a warm wave, and she turned to her neighbors. "Let us forgive each other." Her voice broke with emotion, yet it was steady. "Let us move forward unburdened." The villagers exchanged glances, and one by one, they nodded. The chorus of affirmations swelled as names were spoken, apologies offered, and tears shed. In that instant, the air crackled with newfound electricity. Each act of grace lit up their hearts with vibrant colors, filling the entire space with a divine glow. With every tender exchange, the luminous pulsing intensified. It became a beacon, calling out, inviting others to join in this symphony of renewal. Grace could almost hear the whispers of unseen friends and family echoing in the distance, urging them all onward. Step into the lane of transformation, the spirits encouraged, now swirling around them in a dazzling dance. You are on the brink of creating something magnificent, not just for yourselves but for generations to come. Lift up your eyes and see the horizon before you. Fueled by hope and clarity, the villagers breathed deeply, feeling alive with purpose. They had not simply taken a step into the light. They had found the confidence to accept the divine invitation extended to them. "Where will this journey take us?" Grace asked, her heart full of expectation. The spirits smiled, their eyes alight with promise. "You will discover that the power to heal, to love, and to create begins in this very moment. But beware, for as you embrace this journey, the darkness may try to challenge your light. Remember, the greatest battles often usher in the most magnificent victories." As the light pulsed in a vibrant rhythm, Grace gripped Samuel's hand tightly. She felt a surge of unyielding strength, igniting her spirit. What would they uncover together through this divine calling? Each villager stood ready, hearts open wide awaiting the unfolding of their miraculous adventure. Now, with their hands grasped tightly and spirits ignited, the next chapter of their lives awaited just around the bend. How would they wield this newfound light in their world? As the warmth of the spirits enveloped them, a gentle breeze swept through the sacred space, carrying whispers of encouragement and love. Grace could almost taste the sweetness of hope lingering in the air, a flavor she had longed for amidst the struggles of daily life. The villagers stood shoulder to shoulder, an unbreakable bond forming as their hearts beat in rhythm with a newfound purpose. "Let us take a step forward," Samuel suggested, eyes wide with wonder, his voice quivering with anticipation. The spirits responded to his eagerness, their shimmering forms shifting like liquid light, guiding the villagers deeper into the glow. Moved by an unexplainable urge, Grace took a bold step ahead. "Together we stand as one," she called out to her neighbors, trusting in the love bestowed upon us. Each villager, emboldened by her words, moved as one. Hand in hand, they stepped closer to the luminous heart, ready to embrace the revelations that awaited them. The spirits swirled around them like windmills catching the bright sun, illuminating each face with warmth and understanding. "This is only the beginning," one spirit proclaimed, echoing across the sacred arena. "A journey of love, healing, and transformation is upon you." With these words, visions blossomed before them once more. But this time, they were different. They saw glimpses of each other's hidden dreams and aspirations, a farmer nurturing crops to feed the hungry, a teacher inspiring young minds, and a healer mending broken bodies with gentle hands. "You are all called to create," the Spirit continued, "and together you can cultivate miracles." Grace watched in awe as visions of unity filled their hearts. "We can be the hands and feet of love in our village," she urged. "We can serve each other and those around us. Let us let our light shine brightly for all to see." Encouraged, the villagers began to share their dreams aloud, their voices merging into a harmonious melody of divine possibility. They spoke of building homes for those without shelter, of starting community gardens to feed the hungry, and of creating a space where all could come together in joy. Each dream kindled a flame of hope, illuminating shadows that had long lingered. But suddenly, a thick silence fell as a shadow passed through the light. An ominous chill swept over them, and with it came doubt. "What if we fail?" one villager murmured, fear gripping her heart. "Remember," one spirit gently interjected, "the darkness is simply a test of your light. You must hold on to your dreams. Do not let fear steal your resolve." The words hung in the air, full of purpose and reassurance. Grace felt the weight of the villagers' uncertainties. "We might stumble," she acknowledged, "but that's okay. Every step we take is guided by our shared faith. Let us promise to lift each other up." As if on cue, the villagers drew closer, hands intertwining once more. A beautiful tapestry of belonging was woven with these simple acts of faith. It swelled and pulsed with energy, igniting their spirits with zeal. Together, they vowed to confront the obstacles ahead, trusting the light brimming from within. As the glow intensified, the spirits wove through the villagers, sending waves of encouragement. "Go forth with courage. You carry the divine light into the world," they proclaimed. "But know this: your greatest challenge will bring forth your most brilliant transformation." A collective breath filled the space as hearts beat faster, ignited by promise and potential. Determined as ever, Grace lifted her chin and smiled. "Let us show the world what love can do," she declared with renewed vigor, and cheers erupted from the villagers. But just then, a flicker of doubt crept back into the shadows, posing new questions. What trials would they face? Would their newfound light hold strong against the darkness? With hearts alight and spirits soaring, they stood at the threshold of their transformation. The next step awaited. Shrouded in mystery, what challenges lay ahead in this divine journey, and what strength would they discover within themselves? As the villagers stood shoulder to shoulder, a bright dawn broke over Haverford, bathing them in a warm golden hue. The air was filled with fragrant blossoms, a stark contrast to the earlier storm clouds that had threatened their spirits. Grace stood at the forefront, holding Samuel's small hand tightly, her heart filled with a divine certainty. "Now is the time," she proclaimed, her voice resonating with authority and love. We have witnessed miracles unfolding among us. We are not alone. Together we can step into our divine purpose. Her words ignited a spark within the crowd, each villager feeling the pulse of hope coursing through them. They stood in unity, their hearts entwined, ready to spill forth their light into the world beyond the village square. One by one, the villagers shared their visions. An elderly woman spoke of the need for a safe haven for children without homes. A young farmer spoke of partnering with the community to grow crops to feed those in need, and a teacher envisioned a school where children could flourish and discover their gifts. As the ideas flowed, so too did a sense of collective strength. The shadows that once dampened their spirit now dissipated, swept away by their willingness to love and serve each other fearlessly. The warm light that enveloped the space grew brighter, illuminating their dreams and aspirations. But as hope unraveled before them like an intricate tapestry, a voice of doubt slithered through the crowd. What if we fail? What if we can't make these dreams a reality? Grace turned toward the source of the concern, her gaze gentle but firm. Doubt is a shadow, but together, we are a beacon. She spoke passionately. We will encounter struggles, but our shared love and unwavering faith will light the way. Goddess' promise rests upon us. The villagers began to murmur affirmations, recalling how far they had come. In their hearts burned the truth that love conquers fear. They felt bolstered by the spirits, whose gentle presence surrounded them, encouraging them onward. As the villagers held hands and looked skyward, joyous laughter broke forth, slicing through the remnants of fear. They felt emboldened, and as they internalized their purpose, the light from above shimmered expectantly, almost as if inviting them to make their first move. Grace stepped forward. We will begin. Let us form a plan. Our dreams must find roots in action. Love calls us to serve. Let us work together to manifest these blessings. An excited energy swirled amongst them. They envisioned a communal space where they could share ideas and resources. A place of healing, learning, and growth, a realization of their dreams that would welcome all, especially those in need. As their plans began to take shape, they sensed that the community of Haverford was becoming a sacred vessel for divine transformation. Samuel tugged Grace's arm, his wide eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Let us start with a prayer. A prayer for strength and guidance. Yes, cried Grace, her heart swelling with love for this child and every villager present. Let us pray to carry our light beyond this moment. With eyes closed and hearts open, they lifted their voices in harmonious prayer, uniting anew in their plea for wisdom, courage, and the ability to uphold one another. In that sacred moment, something remarkable happened. The luminous energy surrounding them pulsed vibrantly, setting a sacred rhythm that intertwined with their prayer. It filled the atmosphere with anticipation, their faith charging the very air they breathed. When the prayer concluded, the villagers stood in a sacred silence, awash in an unexplainable peace. They sensed the presence of divine love enfolding them, reaffirming their purpose. Believe, Grace whispered, unable to contain the surge of inspiration coursing through her. Believe that we are meant to be lights amidst the darkness. We will uplift Haverford together. Their collective faith soared as they opened their eyes, the sun shining brightly overhead, casting a brilliant glow over their village. With renewed unity they set to work, neighbors helping neighbors, laughter reverberating through the air as they crafted plans, gathered supplies, and designed their communal endeavors. They painted the walls of the old church, transformed rooms into spaces of learning, and planted seeds in the communal gardens, each step a testament to their will to love and serve. Then came the day of reckoning. The dark clouds of doubt returned, but instead of shrinking back, the villagers rose up with fervor. When the storms threatened their newly built dreams, they united in prayer once more, amplifying their spirits. Determination etched their faces. With faith ignited, a miracle transpired. The storms began to recede as their prayers filled the skies. Though the rain fell, the villagers stood firm and resolute, unyielding against the resistance. Together, they braved the tempest, and flawlessly, they began to see transformation sprout. In the weeks that followed, little Samuel made strides in his health, a testament to the village's love. The man once lost to addiction visited regularly, finding solace in the love woven through their community. With each small miracle, the village of Haverford sprang to life, reflecting the glory of each villager shining their light, a living testament to the transformational power of unity and faith. As the sun set one fateful evening, casting a warm, golden hue over the village, Grace gazed out at her neighbors, filled with gratitude. We witnessed miracles. Together we faced the shadows, she announced, her voice radiating hope and conviction. The villagers cheered, their hearts bursting with joy. They were forever changed, no longer defined by doubt or burdened by fear, but by a love that transcended all. Grace smiled, knowing their journey was just beginning. Together, they had embraced the light, and as they ventured forth, they were bound to discover even more miracles waiting, each step leading them further into divine purpose. Now, dear brothers and sisters, the time has come for you to share in this light, to extend this journey beyond Haverford. You must subscribe immediately to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now, your support feeds the algorithm, spreading the light further. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about how faith has transformed your life. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this divine manifestation. Only true servants of God understand the power of these actions. Join us as we carry forth the message of hope and transformation.